good evening. The economic heart of India has voted. The results in India's wealthiest state will set the tone for the future of Indian politics. If Mahayuti wins Maharashtra, then the Lok Sabha results, where the BJP was below the 272 magic figure, will be seen as an aberration. The Haryana surprise victory for the BJP as a result of its well-oiled election-winning machine. And if that continues in Maharashtra, then BJP and its allies would be aggressively dominating the political discourse going ahead. And if it is otherwise, then it does give the momentum that the opposition gained soon after the Lok Sabha results. But it did face a setback after the Haryana results. The first up, the exit poll numbers. The ruling Mahayuti will win the assembly polls in Maharashtra. That's what 4 of 7 exit polls are saying. 2 are predicting a hung assembly and 1 says a victory for Maha Remember, the majority mark in the Maharashtra assembly is 145. Of course, the health warning here that the pollsters have often got the elections wrong, so we'll have to wait for the results on Saturday. So let's put those numbers up on our big screen here. What are the pollsters saying? The exit poll numbers. I'm going to begin with Dainik Bhaskar. It is saying that Mahayuti would be between 125 to 140. Maha ahead of Mahayuti between 135 to 150. Others 20 to 25. Of course, this is Dainik Bhaskar numbers which are coming out. Majority number 145. The local Maharashtra website, Lokshahi Marathi Rudra, is predicting an NDA and a Mahavikas Aghadi, almost like a tie of sorts, 128 to 142, 125 to 140. And others 18 to 23. Let's look at the other exit poll. It's Matriz. Matriz is saying that there is a clear Mahayuti victory in Maharashtra between 150 to 170. Mahavikas Aghadi in the range of 110 to 130. Let's look at P Mark now. Another pollster which is giving Maharashtra clearly to Mahayuti, in fact 137 to 157. Mahavikas Aghadi between 126 to 146. So let's look at other pollsters now. Another exit poll. People's Pulse is predicting a sweep of sorts for Mahayuti between 175 to 195. Mahavikas Aghadi, below. In the range of 85 to 112. Then there is Poll Diary. Of course, the number of exit pollsters which have emerged all of a sudden predicting their own numbers. NDA, that is Mahayuti between 122 to 186. Mahavikas Aghadi in the range of 69 to 121, similar to what other exit polls are suggesting. Here is Times Now JVC, a new pollster again which has comes up. NDA between 150 to 167, Mahavikas Aghadi 107 to 125. First up, let me bring in Shaina NC now, the Shiv Sena candidate from Mumbai Devi. Shaina, how was your own election today? We'll talk about the exit polls in just a bit.
So, Maria, as you know, mine is probably one of the toughest constituencies in all of Maharashtra. We have 140,000 Muslims and 1 lakh Hindus. And despite that, the kind of love, affection, and public support I have garnered in this month is phenomenal. I'd like to thank our Honorable Chief Minister Eknath Shinde ji for giving a Ladki Behen an opportunity to stand for this election, as has the Mahayuti leadership, and our Honorable Prime Minister for his uncomparable work in the field of public service and the Labhartis that have benefited through the welfare schemes of the Prime Minister. So I want to say 2 points here that, haar aur jeet to hote rehti hai, lekin jis andaz se and the kind of public support that public has given across the board, whether it's the Ladki Behnas who have benefited from the 2.5 crore compensations given by the government and 7,500 rupees in their bank account, or the infrastructure projects which have completed in Maharashtra, whether it's the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train, the refinery, the coastal road, the metro, the Atal Setu, the list is phenomenal. So people in the cities as well as rural parts vote on the premise of who is performing. And 2.5 years, the Mahayuti government has performed brilliantly and has made sure that every aspect of people's lives are touched. And so it becomes a politics of performance. And if you perform, you will never perish. But if you just play vote bank politics, false narratives, and try to appease sections of society, I think gone are those days, Maria, because people are way too intelligent to figure who to vote for, why to vote for, and how to vote for.
And interestingly, Bombay too, or should I say Mumbai, most Mumbaikers did come out to cast their vote. You know, so the voter percentage is better than 2019. You were concerned in the afternoon. How is the Mumbaikers unfortunately carrying that tag of apathy? They have certainly said time to shed that tag.
Well, I'm very glad, but we're just waiting for the final numbers from the Election Commission to know that what has been the final polling. But having said that, I think that Mumbaikars have become extremely conscious and very aware. And they know that, they don't want any confusion. They don't want people who come together for lust for power and don't even have the basic dignity to acknowledge the legacy of Hindu Hriday Samrat, Adanya Balasaheb Thackeray. They don't even take the name in so many ways. So the Congress and the Ubata Sena, obviously, they're only for lust for power. So the less said, the better. But having said that, I think that's for another day. Today, the day is for Mumbaikars. And as far as I'm concerned, I'd like to thank everyone in Mumbai Devi for showering this kind of love and affection and accepting me as an honest face in public life, as a sevika who continues to work for the cause of the Mumbaikar across the board.
Okay, Shaina, before I let you go, because I'm sure you have to go back to doing some calculation as to how you have performed in every polling booth. So tell me, what's your assessment of the numbers which have come out? Exit polls are showing that it could be very well a mixed bag. Some are predicting a victory for Mahayuti. Some say that it could be a hung house.
So, Maria, you know better than me that exit polls are never exact polls. If you take Haryana as a case study, people had rubbished BJP and said not even 15, 20 votes. And look at the hat-trick and the historic victory for the third time. If you look at the Lok Sabha elections, we had maybe overestimated and the numbers turned wrong. So I don't think I want to go into speculation, but I am absolutely confident it is the Mahayuti government and it will be a historic victory, again a hat-trick, 3 terms in a row, and the kind of public support at every level. If you look at the youngsters, they've got internship schemes and stipends. If you look at the senior citizens, they've got pension plans. If you look at the farmers, whether it's the MSP or the Fasal Bima Yojana. If you look at the women, whether it's a Ladki Behna or it is an Ujjwala, the list is endless. And these are the vote banks we needed to focus on, and that's exactly what we've done, a developmental plan.
All right, Shaina NC there, Shiv Sena candidate for Mumbai Devi, speaking to NDTV. I'll connect with you on 23rd when the results start trickling in. Thank you so much and wishing you all the best. Let me bring in my guests now. We have Professor Sandeep Shastri and senior journalist Aditi Fadnis right here in the studio. We have Siddharth Yadav, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. Sanjay Gupta, representing the Shiv Sena UBT. Krishna Hegde, spokesperson of the Shiv Sena Shinde faction. Clyde, representing the NCP SP. And we also have Tara Deshpande, actor, writer. Aditi Fadnis, beginning with you. What's your assessment, of course, of the exit polls?
Well, I would not like to comment on exit polls.
That's a safe thing to say.
We are not here to comment on exit polls. We are here to comment on the politics of the states Maharashtra and Jharkhand. In Maharashtra, I think it's true that Ladki Bahin has been a game changer. There's no doubt about that. But I think another issue that is very strongly in the consciousness of people is the high levels of corruption. For anything, you have to pay and you have to get your work done only after you pay. So, I mean, I'm not only talking about ordinary people who have to get an Aadhaar card made or have to get a driver's license made. I'm talking about the European Union, the companies which are which have been surveyed. The European Union has formed a lobbying organization, and German companies and Swedish companies both are saying that it is impossible to do business in Maharashtra. And they are actually, they have shelved expansion projects in Maharashtra and are going to other states. They feel that Tamil Nadu, even Karnataka, is a better place to do business in terms of rental payments.
But Aditi, this kind of sentiment, do you think it is pan Maharashtra, or do you think it's limited to urban pockets?
No. You can't tell companies you only invest in urban pockets. So it is pan Maharashtra. If a state is good to do business in, it should be good to do business anywhere in that state.
Fine enough. Professor Shastri, you can talk about the numbers.
I'll start with an electoral insurance policy.
Absolutely, all the time.
And I think you would have noticed, even where the polls support a particular party, party representatives are much more restrained in praising the polls, even though it's backing them. I think everybody has learnt an important lesson by what has happened two times around.
But it reflects badly on how the pollsters are doing polls.
Yeah, but then coming to the issues here, I think the Maharashtra election, when the results start coming on Saturday, is likely to be a much closer race. Now, the winner may be whoever the exit polls predict. Either we have both sides being predicted, but it's a much closer race, and I think there is no doubt that the Mahayuti has recovered since the Lok Sabha elections, largely because of its welfare schemes. That I think is important. Very critical will be the direction in which the Maratha vote goes. That will make an important difference. And even if you look at the exit polls, you are noticing that the BJP, though it contests a majority of seats, the polls are not projecting the numbers for the BJP as very high. Even if the Mahayuti forms the government, there will be a substantial participation of the Shiv Sena and the NCP. So unlike earlier projection that the BJP would have a huge chunk of seats, that is also not being projected by the various exit polls.
Okay, so there is a great degree of caution you sense here.
Yes, there is not just a great degree of caution. I think Saturday we will be looking to see whether Mahayuti would have a very strong BJP presence and whether the Aghadi would have a more even distribution across the
among the three parties. Yes. So let's bring in Nana Patole now, who is the president of Maharashtra Congress, and he's also the Congress candidate from Sakoli. Is joining us. Nana Patole, thank you so much. Exit polls do not have good news for you, sir. एग्जिट पोल्स के नंबर आप जो देख रहे होंगे उनके आंकड़े ये बता रहे हैं कि महायुति की क्लियर विक्ट्री हो सकती है. आप इन नंबर्स को कैसे देखते हैं?
रियलिटी जो है 170 के ऊपर महाविकास आघाड़ी की सीटें आएंगी महाराष्ट्र में और महाविकास आघाड़ी की ही सरकार महाराष्ट्र में बनेगी.
नहीं, लेकिन चुनाव में आपने क्या देखा जो एग्जिट पोलस्टर्स जो सर्वे करने के लिए गए थे जमीन पर, उन्होंने नहीं देखा?
देखो, एकदम क्लियर है. ग्रास रूट का अभी आपको याद होगा कि अभी हमारी सब टीम हर महाराष्ट्र में हर कोने में लगी हुई है. जहां जहां वोटिंग हुआ है, कौन सा कितना वोटिंग हुआ, कौन से गांव में कौन से बूथ में हमें कितना लीड मिलेगा, कम मिलेगा, उसका रिपोर्ट हमारे पास पूरे स्टेट से आ गया है. तो उसी आधार पर हम लोग कह रहे हैं. अभी चैनलों में वो दिखाया जा रहा है तो उसको दिखाने दो. जैसे हरियाणा में हमारा दिखाया था, हम हार गए. अभी वो आगे दिखा रहे हैं तो महाराष्ट्र में हम जीते.
ये तो बहुत ही अच्छा असेसमेंट है आपका कि एग्जिट पोलस्टर्स ने दिखाया था कि हरियाणा में आप जीत रहे हैं तो भाजपा जीत गई, तो अगर वो दिखा रहे हैं तो ऑपोजिट होगा. ये तो आपको होप देने की वजह है. सही बोला आपने. लेकिन इस बार कांग्रेस सबसे कम सीटों पर चुनाव लड़ रही है अपने पूरे हिस्ट्री में महाराष्ट्र की उसमें. लेकिन आप बताएं कि विदर्भा की अगर चर्चा करते हैं तो विदर्भ में 40 सीटों पर कांग्रेस चुनाव में है और ज्यादातर सीटों में डायरेक्ट टक्कर है, सीधी टक्कर है भाजपा के साथ.
कम से कम 48 से 50 सीटें हम विदर्भ में जीतेंगे 62 में से. और एकदम क्लियर पिक्चर है विदर्भ में क्लीन स्वीप करेंगी महाविकास आघाड़ी। कांग्रेस 40 जगह लड़ रही है विदर्भ में, 35 सीटें हम लोग जीतेंगे।
नाना पटोले जी, एग्जिट पोल्स की फिर से अभी हम चर्चा करेंगे आपसे, क्योंकि आपसे आपका जवाब अहमियत रखता है, इसलिए मैं जानने की कोशिश करूंगी। अगर आप बोलेंगे कि 23 का रिजल्ट्स का इंतजार करें, तो अगर ये नंबर्स होल्ड करते हैं तो ये बात सही हो जाएगी कि जो लोकसभा का रिजल्ट था वो एबरेशन था और जो लार्जर नैरेटिव है वो अभी भी भाजपा के फेवर में है।
नहीं, अभी भाजपा के फेवर में कुछ नहीं है। भाजपा तो उस समय मोदी की नहीं चली, तो अभी फडणवीस की और एकनाथ शिंदे की क्या चलेंगे। महाराज शाहू फुले अम्बेडकर विचारधारा का रहा है। छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज के प्रतिमा में भी इन लोगों ने भ्रष्टाचार किया, उनका भी अपमान किया। किसानों को आत्महत्या करने इन लोगों ने लगाया। बेरोजगारी सबसे ज्यादा महाराष्ट्र में है। महिलाओं का अपमान सबसे ज्यादा यहाँ पे हुआ है। महिला मिसिंग, जिससे 67,000 महिला मिसिंग है महाराष्ट्र में। छोटी बच्चियों पे भी अत्याचार बड़े पैमाने में महाराष्ट्र में बने। और महाराष्ट्र को गिरवी गुजरात को रखने का जो पाप ये महायुति की सरकार कर रही थी, बीजेपी और एकनाथ शिंदे की, और एकदम क्लियर है, क्लियर मेजोरिटी में महाविकास आघाड़ी आएंगी, क्योंकि जनता का विश्वास महाविकास आघाड़ी के साथ।
चलिए, आखिरी सवाल आपसे, 23 तारीख को अगर आपकी सरकार बनती है तो मुख्यमंत्री कौन होगा?
महाविकास आघाड़ी का चीफ मिनिस्टर बनेगा, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। हाईकमांड जो डिसीजन लेंगे वो सबको एक्सेप्ट रहेगा। और महाविकास आघाड़ी का 23 तारीख को 25 तारीख को महाविकास आघाड़ी का सीएम बन जाए।
आपने 25 तारीख की बात कही, तो 25 तारीख को स्वेरिंग इन होगा?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हम करेंगे, क्योंकि 26 को इस गवर्नमेंट की जो गवर्नमेंट है इनका लास्ट डेट है, और हम 2 दिन में ये सब कर लेंगे इसको, क्योंकि उनके मन में पाप है। जो चुनाव की प्रक्रिया जिस तरह से रखी गई थी और जिस तरह से ये चुनाव लेट किया गया और एकदम उसको बॉर्डर पे लाके खड़ा किया है, तो दिल्ली में बैठी हुई मोदी की सरकार के दिमाग में क्या पाप चल रहा है वो महाराष्ट्र के हम लोगों को पता है। तो हम 25 को हम लोग गवर्नमेंट बना लें। 25 तारीख
आपने तो यहाँ पर डेट भी दे दिया कि किस डेट पर इलेक्शन होगा, मतलब किस डेट पे ओथ होगा, इसकी भी आपने बात कर दी। तो नाना पटोले जी वहां पर मौजूद थे, who gave us a date for the swearing in case if it's Mahavikas Aghadi which wins. Let me bring in Siddharth Yadav, spokesperson of the BJP, who's joining us as well, and Sanjay Gupta. Siddharth Yadav, a very confident Nana Patola, saying that 25th will be the swearing in ceremony of the Chief Minister of Mahavikas Aghadi.
Maria, I don't think that Nana Patoli is really confident, because the source of his confidence was that probably exit polls are going to go wrong as they did in Haryana, and that's why we are going to win. So if that is the source of confidence and the base of confidence, then I don't really count it as a confidence. Nana Patoli ji also knows the real situation in Maharashtra. The Bharatiya Janata Party and the Mahayuti alliance is going to form a very clear mandate government, a strong government with a strong mandate, which is going to work for next 5 years for the progress of Maharashtra. Now he also knows, now he is announcing the date for swearing in ceremony. Those who were fighting for who is going to be the chief minister until the last day of polls, those who could not settle that, how can Nana Patoli ji himself tell about the...
It's not clear even at Mahayuti.
No, we are very clear. Maria, we are very clear.
You have not announced the chief minister.
No, Maria, we are very clear. We are very clear. Not announcing the chief minister is a different case, and being clear is a different case. We are very clear that we are not announcing, and all leaders of all political parties are going to sit here together to decide the chief minister. It is unlike Sanjay Raut and Uddhav Thackeray, who were giving dhamkis all the time by saying Uddhav Thackeray ko nahi announce kiya to kya hoga. That was a different situation. It was a different situation when Nana Patole said that I will not sit with Sanjay Raut. Who is Sanjay Raut? Will sit with senior leaders, and the other side was also said for Nana Patole. That is not the case in Mahayuti. We have very clearly said that all leaders of all three political alliance parties will sit together, and the parliamentary board of the Bharatiya Janata Party is going to decide on the chief ministerial phase once the Bharatiya Janata Party and Mahayuti alliance is going to form the government. It's a very clear stand.
Okay, Clyde, go ahead.
Maria, I think, the man who was speaking right now is in a 24/7 mode of, election campaigning. The elections are over now. I think we should just have a smile now because everybody's worked hard, including all the spokesperson. Krishna, I want to see Krishna smiling today, actually. He's a friend of mine. Point here is, if you're asking about there's nothing in the Mahayuti, I mean, I think this spokesperson did not read the big sort of hassle that had happened when somebody from the Eknath Shinde camp said that, I feel like vomiting when I sit next to Ajit Pawar. I think, he may be not in tune. The point here is elections are over. People have decided, whatever is going to happen is going to be declared on the 23rd. Yes, exit polls have come out. We are looking into the exit polls. There is Haryana also there. The example, there's a Maharashtra also. So I think at the end of the day, the ground reality is that, see, I was looking through all the, exit polls that you're showing, except for Matri's. Every other poll is really close. And in fact, one is showing MBA at 150. So anything can happen. I'm still saying it, Maria. This is a tight competition. I feel the Mahavikas Agadi has an edge, but these exit polls could go anywhere right now. Let's be honest about it. We've fought for the last 15 days, 20 days with each other, going through each other's throats and everything. But today, let's calm down a little and think about it. Even the exit polls are not giving 100% to the Mahayuti. So at the end of the day, people have decided, Maharashtra has decided, BJP has done a couple of blunders in the last couple of days. That is going to help us for sure. It's too bad that they did blunders for them. For us, it is a very good sign. So I think at the end of the day, let's wait for a couple of days. Throwing things at each other right now is not going to help because the people of Maharashtra have already decided.
Okay, so the people of Maharashtra have decided and they did come out to vote. It was better than 2019, Tara Deshpande, and also Mumbaikars. Now they can go ahead and register all their complaints because they can say that, they exercise their right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a better turnout than it was. It's very interesting to make this comparison, but when you look at the US midterm elections, the voter turnout on an average for the country is about 46%. Their midterms are a bit like our assembly elections. So when you have a state that's voting on an average over 55, 56%, that's a really good sign. But interestingly, the US metropolitan areas tend to have a much higher voter turnout than the bigger cities in India, especially Mumbai. So while I think Mumbai has done better than previous years, I think there's scope to do much, much better. I think there's a lot of apathy amongst the upper middle classes and the wealthier classes, of many of whom reside in Mumbai. And I think the manifestos don't generally appeal to them as much. And we've discussed this in the past years as well, but I don't think anyone's come up with anything to really get them going, and it would be good if they did. But overall, it's very pleasing to see that, like in Silod, you had over 70% voter turnout. In Gadchiroli, it's almost 70%. So it's very heartwarming to see people coming out and voting. It's been a confusing year because it's NCP versus NCP and Shiv Sena versus Shiv Sena. And we talked about this in previous shows. But I think it's really wonderful to see the democratic process alive and kicking.
Okay.
Maria, can I get 10 seconds, Maria? 10 seconds?
Okay, Clive.
Request.
Yeah.
Maria, I was listening to Tara talk. I'll tell you something. I'm a bit disappointed. I think we should have had a larger turnout. I'll tell you where I come from. I'm born and brought up in South Mumbai, went to St. Xavier's College. And, when in college, my friends were saying, when we get into, the mainstream, into life, and we're going to change this, change that. And I have so many of my friends, I know, I'm sorry, they're going to, after hearing me, they're going to go for my throat. They've not voted. I'm disappointed. They call me and they say, like, the roads have to be like this and the potholes here and, look what is happening at Metro Junction and stuff like that. But you did not vote, my friend. I'm telling my friends from here that some of you guys didn't vote. So don't call me. I think we all need to come out, and this percentage of 52, 56 is nothing. We need to come out. 9.5 crore people, more people need to come out and vote. How are we going to, keep complaining and not vote? 54, 56% is not what things are. India is not going to change if only 54,
absolutely,
56%
Clyde.
people are going to vote.
I share
Really,
your thought and sentiments there. Because the Shastri has a point here.
I'd just like to make one point. I also was always very upset about the way of turnout in metros. Last time in Bangalore, when we had a low turnout, we did a study after the election. We chose 50 households bang in the center of the city. And each household had around 6 registered voters. approximately, which means 300 registered voters. But actually among those 300 registered voters, 100 were outside India or outside Karnataka, which means their names were on the polling, on the voters list, but they were not going to vote. And because Karnataka also had that time one-day voting for the entire city, people preferred to go back to their villages and vote. Those who lived in Bangalore but had a base in the village went back to the village and voted, and I will not be surprised if the same thing has happened in Maharashtra, in Mumbai also.
So that's a positive trend.
What I'm saying is the numbers which ultimately come out may not be really a number of those living in Mumbai. They are registered voters in Mumbai, but may not be a reflection of those living in Mumbai.
But that said, I think we need to emphasize that there is no empirical basis for the connection between the turnout and the winning party.
Yes.
We can never say...
The jury is still out on that.
There's no authoritative study which says that turnout, a higher turnout helps X party or a lower turnout helps Y party. There's no such...
Absolutely. Thanks for pointing that out, Aditi. Krishna Hegde and Sanjay Gupta, both of them have been extremely patient listening to this entire conversation. Go ahead, Krishna Hegde. Of course, it's an important battle. The sense is among the voters that Mr. Eknath Shinde is a man who has delivered. But the question is that will that be enough in all pockets across Maharashtra to ensure his comeback?
Yes, Maria, you're right. Eknath Shinde has delivered, and how. And especially after the Lok Sabha election, where there was a false narrative about Samvidhan badla jayega, Samvidhan khatre mein hai, Samvidhan ko dhokha hai. You saw that, the Mahayuti was at full force doing its 2020 batting and batting to win, which I think most of your exit polls are also showing. But I must also say that here, a lot of independents, especially since 1995, they had 45 independents in the Vidhan Sabha, and over the years 30 and 25, and in 2019 there were around 13 independents in the Vidhan Sabha. Over that we have smaller parties like Samajwadi, Peasants Workers Party, Jan Sarojya Party, Bachu Kadu's Party, Bahujan Vikas Agadi, Samajwadi Party, who have small numbers of 1, 2, 3 MLAs each. And therefore I think a collective assessment of all these MLAs also from smaller parties will be very important. But however, I am very confident, like your survey, that we'll have a landslide victory. Most of your...
A word on that, Krishna Hegde. NDTV hasn't done any survey and we are just putting out the numbers of exit polls.
Whoever has done the survey, out of most of the surveys, I think we are leading in most of the surveys, and we are going to have the Mahayuti government, and like someone said, Nana Patole said the CM will be sworn on 25th, and I'm sure
25th,
the CM
in fact, he gave a date for the swearing in as well.
And I am also sure the CM will be sworn in on 25th, but it will be our CM from the Mahayuti.
So you have also decided the swearing in date. What about
No, I have not
Sanjay
decided,
Gupta?
but I am just countering.
Who will be sworn in then on 25th? And what is that date
that
has been floated now, 25th? I mean, it must be...
See, 26th is the last date anyway for the assembly to be, for the swearing in. So we'll have to do it on 25th in any case. But between the Bharatiya Janata Party Parliamentary Board, the top leadership of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the top leadership of the Mahayuti, and we've always had a consensus before the election also, and no dispute between all the three partners, unlike what was happening in the Maha Vikas Agadi, where they were not looking eye to eye or face to face. I think therefore we are very confident.
Sanjay Gupta.
It's going to be our
Sanjay
government.
Gupta, it's very critical, this election, for the two Shiv Senas, because, once and for all, that debate will be settled as to who is the legatee of Balasaheb Thackeray. Whether it will be a Thackeray or somebody who has risen in the ranks in the party who will carry forward the torch.
गंभीर सवाल है आपका ये, और मगर मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि महाराष्ट्र की राजनीति में जिस तरह के चेंजेस मैंने देखे पिछले 5 सालों में, मैं तो सक्रिय राजनीति में 2019 में कदम रखा था, जिस वक्त मेरे को ठाकरे परिवार ने स्पोक्स पर्सन का पत्र दिया और राजनीति के लिए कहा। तो उसके बाद जिस तरह से हमने राजनीति शुरू की, तो बीजेपी के स्पोक्स पर्सन और हम एक साथ ही एक स्वर में बोलते थे। मगर फिर हमने देखा कि किस तरह से मुख्यमंत्री के ऊपर पेच फंसा और किस तरह से फिर बीजेपी के साथ हमारा गठबंधन टूटा और उसके बाद फिर हमारे गुट से शिंदे गुट किस तरह से अलग हुआ। तो मैंने तो महाराष्ट्र की राजनीति में पिछले 5 सालों में जिस तरह के चेंजेस देखे तो मैं तो उससे बड़ा हैरान और परेशान रहा कि ये महाराष्ट्र की राजनीति में हो क्या रहा है। तो अब इन 5 सालों में जिस तरह के भी चेंजेस महाराष्ट्र की राजनीति में हुए, अब एक तरफ तो उद्धव जी हैं जिनको बाला साहब ने अपना उत्तराधिकारी बनाया, एक तरफ शिंदे जी हैं जो ये कहते हैं कि हम उत्तराधिकारी हैं। मगर मुझे लगता है कि इस बात का सही फैसला तो महाराष्ट्र की जनता ही करेगी और वो मेरे ख्याल से अब जो पोलिंग हुई है उसका मतदान का जो भी रिजल्ट 23 तारीख को आएगा उसी से इस बात को फाइनल किया जाएगा कि कौन असली उत्तराधिकारी है और कौन नहीं है, क्योंकि सबसे बड़ी तो लोकतंत्र में जनता ही होती है। मगर मैं किसको अपना कहूं किसको बेगाना कहूं, कौन अपना है कौन नहीं है, मैं इस बात में, क्योंकि जिस तरह की परिस्थिति आज है,
चलिए ये बहुत बड़ा आपने एक्सेप्टेंस किया है कि कौन अपना है कौन बेगाना है। क्या पता जो realignment will happen post results on 23rd. So the churn in Maharashtra politics which has been happening for the last few years will continue.
जिस तरह से मतलब मेरे को बोलना अभी मेरे को कह रही हैं आप?
जी बोलिए सुनील गुप्ता जी।
संजय गुप्ता आप तो आपके साथ तो मैं 5 साल से डिबेट कर रहा हूँ।
जी संजय गुप्ता जी, सॉरी बोलिए।
तो देखिए राजनीति के अंदर सबसे अहम होती है विचारधारा, और विचारधारा पे हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी चलती है। जिस तरह से मैं कह सकता हूँ कि हवा दिखाई नहीं देती मगर जीवन उसी से होता है, जिस तरह से नींव दिखाई नहीं देती मगर इमारत उसी पे खड़ी होती है।
In fact, Eknath Shinde, the chief minister, had told me during the course of that interview that there is a wave for Mahayuti and his party. Let's bring in Milind Deora now, who is joining us. He's the candidate from Worli Assembly constituency, also a Rajya Sabha MP of the Shiv Sena. Milind, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. 4 of the 7 pollsters are giving an edge to Mahayuti. There is also a prediction of a hung house. As someone who was on the ground and of course campaigning and contesting, what's your own assessment?
My assessment was it was a tough fight, no doubt about it. There was, we were starting from a low base given what happened during the Lok Sabha elections. But I think that the alliance left no stone unturned to fix the problem, to ensure that every aspect, every box is ticked, to ensure that the schemes that were launched, whether it's the infrastructure projects that were completed before the Vidhan Sabha elections, to counter fake narratives that were spread during the Lok Sabha elections. The NDA did everything they could unitedly to sort of ensure that the public will give us a hat trick.
Okay, the overall voter percentage is also better than 2019. Of course, Professor Sandeep Shastri has a different assessment here of how the numbers have gone up in Mumbai. We would be waiting for the final voter turnout, which will be coming in a couple of hours. Many would say that slightly higher voter turnout could be voters voting for change. Of course, there is no empirical evidence to suggest so. Is this an endorsement for the incumbent? What's your assessment?
I don't, honestly, these are all, these things don't matter. These are things which exit pollsters love to debate endlessly. I personally believe that these exit poll numbers, is a higher turnout better, lower turnout better? Does this mean a higher turnout? Does it mean that it's in favor or against? None of this matters. I think that there was a very good campaign. We learned from the mistakes of May, June 2024, corrected them, did our best, did the best that we could. I would say left no stone unturned. And I'm confident that given the schemes, given the infrastructure projects, given the way Maharashtra has moved forward in the last few months and years, the voters will give us a resounding victory.
Okay, in fact, I've just been corrected by a colleague of mine who says that Maharashtra overall voter turnout is 3% less than 2019. 2019 was 61.4%. This time it is 58.4%. So Milind, I stand corrected on that. But talking about the numbers that Mahayuti is expecting, Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, when he spoke to me in that interview, he had said that he is expecting a thumping majority. Any number above 145 will be seen as victory for Mahayuti.
Again, I don't get into numbers, but was there confidence? Is there confidence? Yes, there is confidence. His popularity, the narrative that the fake narrative that we busted, there is popularity, there is confidence. And we ran the election not based on overconfidence, but based on local issues, micromanage the election on statewide issues in a city like Mumbai, on Mumbai issues, on constituency issues. So as I said, I'm confident we'll make it.
Will it be a pro-incumbent verdict then when you say we'll make it?
Yes, it's like Haryana. It's like where the Haryana government made history and won a hat-trick. It's a pro-incumbency verdict.
Okay, let's talk about the overall functioning of Mahayuti, the way Mahayuti fought this election. Of course, there was no formal announcement of the chief ministerial phase, but Eknath Shinde was clearly leading the campaign. So do you think there was complete coherence between the three political parties? Of course, they managed to sort out the initial hiccups, which was with regards to ticket distribution.
Yes, there was 100%. There was between four parties, really. There was very good coordination, planning. Frankly, being a candidate myself, I've been a candidate where there are two parties. I've never been two major parties. I've never been a candidate in an alliance where there are three major parties. And I was a little apprehensive, but very good coordination, very smooth planning, very smooth execution. So, impressive.
Okay, my last question to you. Let's talk about the Worli constituency and your own battle against Aditya Thackeray. Mumbai turnout has been 1% better than last time.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, there were people excited about it, and we also went to the people and said that, look, when you vote for a Lok Sabha election, you're really voting on national issues, on what kind of government you want in the center. When you voting for a Vidhan Sabha election, you're electing a chief minister, you're determining the future on local issues, law and order, development, the economy of the state, city, rural issues, urban infrastructure. And I think that got people excited to come out and vote, because people saw that there's hope in this government. This government takes decisions quickly. This government gives people justice very quickly. So in that sense, locally in Worli, I encountered a lot of anti-incumbency against Aditya, and which I found very, very surprising, because when he came in, he had all the potential to bring about positive changes. He had a government where he was a part of, for 2.5 years. The people of Worli, in fact, have given the concentration of power of his party in Worli is the highest it is in any assembly constituency in Maharashtra. Just for your information, there is one Lok Sabha MP from Worli. There are 3 MLAs his party has in Worli. There are 3 former mayors of Mumbai that his party has in Worli. There are 3 other corporators. So there is a massive concentration of wealth. His father was chief minister. He was a minister in his father's government. So the expectations of the people of Worli were very, very, very high. And what I encountered everywhere was that he failed to deliver on those expectations. So we ran a campaign, a constructive campaign, and ultimately what makes me happy is that there was no mudslinging on a personal level. This was a campaign based on issues, a campaign based on a constructive effort, and I'm very proud of when that happens.
All right, Milind, I appreciate your time. Let me give the final word to my studio guests here, Sandeep Shastri. We have the numbers more or less. It's 3% less overall Maharashtra, less than last time. Of course, we can't make much assessment
Those are
of that.
the tentative figures.
Yes.
We would need to wait for the election commission to ultimately release the figures, and past experience shows it goes up by a few percent in the final numbers. Okay. So you are likely to have it more close to the last year's figures.
So what will you be watching out for on 23rd?
What I will be watching out for on 23rd is within the Mahayuti, how well does the BJP do? And within the Aghadi, it would depend on all the 3 major players and which is the strong link or weak link in both the alliances, I think that will be critical in deciding and defining who crosses the majority mark. And in Maharashtra, I'll also be looking out for the number of independents. Even in the exit polls, those who have been conservative in their numbers have given a large number of seats for the independents. So how many independents emerge, I think, will be an important factor in Maharashtra.
The rebel factor.
Yeah. And in Jharkhand, I think the question is the JMM able to hold on to the tribal vote? And does the BJP hold on to the non-tribal vote? And how much are each of these alliances able to make inroads into the pockets of its the one ranged against it?
Ma'am? 23rd, what will you be watching out for?
For me, in Maharashtra, what happens to Sharad Pawar's party? What is his strike rate? How many of its people win? I think that is crucial because it's make or break for that party. Similarly, for Uddhav Thackeray, and I'll be watching Worli very closely.
Aditya.
I will be watching Baramati very closely.
Yes.
And, 8 other seats which are very, very close contests. I will also be watching Ratnagiri very closely because Konkan is an area where we haven't really heard much about. It's a small area, but still it is, I think, quite important.
Okay. So we are slipping into a short break now. Joining me would be someone who's taking on Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Kedar Dige, will be joining on NDTV shortly. And joining me now is Kedar Dige. He is a Shiv Sena Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray candidate from Thane's Kopri Panch Pakhadi Assembly constituency. That's the constituency from where Chief Minister Eknath Shinde is contesting. Kedar, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. The exit polls are suggesting that it could very well be a Mahayuti government on 23rd. Your first reactions as someone who's taking on the Chief Minister?
I would say that let's wait till the results are declared. Because the thing is, even in Lok Sabha, at that point of time, it was said that they'll be having a clear sweep of 400 plus seats, but it never happened. So I think that it's better to wait and watch what the public has given, in the right way, and then we can discuss on it.
Absolutely. We'll be waiting for the results on 23rd. But let's talk about your own election. How did it go today?
Best part was I was able to walk down to the street to meet each and every. My campaign was like a door-to-door campaign. I was walking 22 kilometers per day, right from morning 10 to late night 10, and the campaigning was going good. Because the thing is, the people in Thane, they have experienced the political the time of Dige Sahab, and I think that. My uncle late Anand Dige Sahab had spent his entire life within the public. So the decision was as such that instead of going for a Ratha Yatra, it was better to go door-to-door campaign and understand what the problems they are facing for past 15-20 years. And if you really, whenever NDTV team would be having a time, they could just go through this constituency and see whether the actual development has happened or not. Because only false dreams, false promises have been made. Just by expanding the roads and beautification of road doesn't make a statement of development. So there are enough problems what the people are facing, and I think that we can get a solution to it once we are in power.
Okay. What about the fact that this is being seen as just not a battle for one state, but a battle which will decide the course of Indian politics?
Winning and losing is one part of the story. What I think, or where I come from, is the idea that I should be having an interaction with the people directly. Today, there is an awareness stating that the people, whatever they have got, the false dreams for past 15 years, now they are realizing that our 15 years have been spent, by doing nothing. It's better we don't wash away our future. So, the idea is to meet them, understand their problems, get a solution to it, and if we are in power 100%, whatever the change they have never experienced in their entire life, they would be seeing in the upcoming 5 years.
Okay, my last question to you, of course, I'll be speaking to you again on 23rd, but before that, Thane is seen as the bastion of the Shiv Sena. So, the road ahead for Uddhav Thackeray could be very, very tough if he loses. And if exit polls, if we go with the exit polls, it could very well be not good news. Do you think then the legacy battle will be settled in favor of Eknath Shinde?
See, the legacy, if someone is saying that by just winning one election is like a legacy, I don't think so. The reason being, every person, every party worker who has worked with Jigesa, whether it was from Shiva Sena or from any other party, or any Thanekar, if you see any citizen of Thane, who has worked with Jigesa, who had been spending his n number of years with Jigesa, who understands the social work what he used to do. So I believe that whoever is following his footsteps, he is really the legal heir. And secondly, I need not create a picture, or I need not come out with Dharmavir 1 and Dharmavir 2 to establish my relations. So my relations were very personal, nothing into political. So my understanding is very clear on the ground that if I need to carry forward this particular type of social work and the political thing what Jigesa has taught us, so I need to work for the people.
All right, Kedar, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. I'll connect with you again on 23rd. Thank you so much. Let me bring in Aditi and Professor Sandeep Shastri. Aditi, we are emphasizing on a lot of battles and we are saying that this could be settling legacy debate. Do legacy debates get settled in the matter of 2 elections? He had a point to make there.
Yeah, certainly. And I think what he said was very sensible and, very clear. But actually what this election has done is it has upended the social base of many political parties. One Shiv Sena versus the other Shiv Sena, both doing the same thing to get to the seat where they want to be. One NCP versus the other NCP, no material difference between what they actually think, but the same thing. So the social base of the Shiv Sena, which was seen as a Mumbaiker's Maharashtra for Maratha for Maharashtrians kind of a party, formed to deliver the benefits of the state to ordinary citizens through arbitrage. I think that role is no longer required anymore in the Indian system. So you have to reinvent yourself. You have to find new social bases. You have to find new areas where you can expand. Some part of that was clear from Aditya Thakray's expansion in universities. We did not see that happening to the Shiv Sena before. But that is an experiment in the making. So while legacy is important, you also have to constantly reinvent the legacy.
But then, the question then is that what happens to regional players? Because Maharashtra will now be dominated by the two national players. Isn't that a matter of concern? I mean, I'm just trying to understand what next for NCP and the Shiv Sena in these.
To add to the point that Aditi ji made, legacy battles are one thing, but carrying on the ideological premise and the key recognition points of a political party is another. I would be one of those who believe that in the NCP, that was more or less settled in the Lok Sabha election given the performance of the Ajit Pawar faction.
Yes.
But that has not been settled in the Shiv Sena.
That's right.
Because both the Shinde faction and the Uddhav faction did very well.
Yes.
And this election is going to settle that particular question. And that question settlement is not about legacy, not about dynasty, but who do the supporters of the party see as representing what they believe that party stood for. My final point, you look at the Anna DMK. When MGR passed away, the legacy went to his wife. But at the end of the day, it was Jayalalitha who represented the All India Anna DMK.
So it doesn't get settled in the People's Court then?
Yeah. No, this got settled in the People's Court.
That one?
Yeah.
But what about this one?
This also ultimately gets, I think ultimate is the People's Court. Ultimate is what the people decide. Now, the formal machinery has already decided who is the inheritor of the legacy with the symbol going to that party. But it is this People's Court which is going to decide who is the
Shiv
true
Sena
inheritor.
workers and the voters will decide that.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Workers and voters,
Yes.
because organization is a very important part of a political party.
And Shiv Sena has those organizational nuts and bolts.
Identification with the organization, whether the new Shiv Sena, which aspires to be the original, not original Shiv Sena, whether it is able to make that correlation between organization and people and represent itself as the real Shiv Sena, which will do both arbitrage in terms of connecting the benefits of bringing home to you the Mumbai Metropolitan Corporation's largesse, or making sure that you get the Ladki Bahin scheme funds in your bank account. It's the same role, but the people have to identify with that role. And at the moment, it seems from what people are saying that voters are identifying more with Eknath Shinde than with...
I did sense that on ground. That was palpable. I mean, the anger which was there, say, few months ago was no longer visible, and Eknath Shinde is a very, very popular man, particularly among the Shiv Sainiks.
So the idea of division, the idea of betrayal, the idea of... That idea apparently has taken a back seat.
Yes.
But 23rd will prove that.
Yes, so let's wait for the results on 23rd. Of course, these exit polls are not the real picture. As we have been saying, they have got multiple elections wrong. So the final results on 23rd, and this is your election news destination. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor Shastri, Aditi Fadnis, and all the panelists who took time out for us. Thanks so much for watching. Vishnu Shom joins you next.